The White Rose is a non-violent intellectual resistance group in the Holocaust that started in 1942 and went to 1943. It ended in February due to 3 of the most important members being beheaded. These members were the most important because they made the most contribution to the group as well as founded it. Sophie Scholl, one of the 3 most important members, was born 1921, May 9th. She was in charge of getting paper for the pamphlets, getting ink, printing out the pamphlets, and helping hand them out within the university. Sophie and her brother, Hans Scholl, founded the group. Hans was in Hitler Youth. He was also one of the most popular in that group, mainly because he was in charge of planning the meetings. Hans was born 1918, September 22nd. Christoph Probst was born November 6th, 1919. Christoph helped write some of the pamphlets. The members of the White Rose put together, printed, and distributed at the risk of their lives 6 leaflets in all. February 1943, the Scholls were distributing the 6th leaflet at the university when they were discovered by a custodian who delivered them to the Gestapo. They made sure to avoid any violent acts and only protested anonymously. They believed that committing acts of violence would only make things worse, as well as they would be found out, causing them not to be able to continue their mission. They continued to protest anonymously. They did this by running through the halls and throwing pamphlets through and slipping them under the classroom door so that when the university students left classrooms, they would see that they were not alone in how they might have felt against Hitler. This was what led to their death, though. While throwing pamphlets through the halls, a janitor who was very supporting of Hitler saw a pamphlet and locked all the doors so that he could catch them. They were caught immediately in the act of throwing the last pamphlets and was taken into custody. Sophie, Hans, and Christoph were put on trial and given the death penalty by beheading. But the trial was mainly to humiliate the members and to show other people that if they ever did what the White Rose did, they would face the penalties. This encouraged people not to go against the law. The day of the beheading, Sophie's last words were, "How can we expect righteousness to prevail when there is hardly anyone willing to give himself up individually? Such a fine sunny day and I have to go, but what does my death matter if thousands of people are awakened and stirred into action?" Hans' last words were shouted from the guillotine, "Long live freedom." In action by the guards, Christoph Probst was allowed a few moments alone with Hans and Sophie before they went to their deaths. These deaths ended the White Rose group, but was what put resistance into motion.